My mom reads constantly and remembers none of it.
That's not true. I remember how some of these books make me feel.
Well, great. We're trying to save those feelings digitally. So today I'm going to teach her how to track and rate her reading using Goodreads and see what actually sticks and makes sense to a normal human.
Welcome back to Espresso Shots and Epic Plots. I'm Diana.
And I'm Genevieve. Grab your favorite caffeinated beverage and join us so we can talk about Goodreads. So before we start with the actual Goodreads, I want to establish kind of what we're doing here. So first and foremost, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, Goodreads is very flawed. It's owned by Amazon. You got to keep all that in mind. When we get to rating, I'll talk about some of like the flaws with ratings, but it is probably the most universal and easy to use book tracker. Mm-hmm. So if you like this and you get into it, maybe next year, I'll show you how to use some other ones that can do some even cooler things.
Oh,
but
okay.
We'll do this one at a time, one thing at a time. The goal today, for those of you watching, this isn't like a click-through tutorial. She already has an account. This is more a showing her all of the things that it can do so she can use it to her advantage.
Yeah.
So I know you've signed in. Have you used it?
As of January 1st, I actually tried to write a
Like how you
review.
said tried.
I mean, I did.
Okay.
I successfully wrote a review, but I was embarrassed when I went back and read a bunch of other reviews, I was like, oh, I liked this character.
Well, and I will say, you are by no means a Luddite. She used to have jobs in computers and programming. Mm-hmm. This is not a step-by-step click how-to kind of video. And you've used your phone is primarily where you've been using it?
No.
Okay.
It's my computer.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I prefer to do massive typing on my computer.
Okay, that makes sense. We're going to be using my iPad, which is closer to the computer than the phone. I use it on my phone for like quick tracking, but there's a lot more cool things that you can do with it.
I'll use it to like look up books and stuff.
Okay, all right, okay. We've talked about this a little bit, but Goodreads, a lot of it is for rating and tracking. So do you want to talk a little bit about why you haven't been rating or tracking up until this point?
Basically, I just usually don't have a need to go digging up books because I have so many family members coming to me saying, you're going to really like this book.
Okay.
And their recommendations, they know me well enough to where their recommendations hold true. So I don't really depend on ratings before I start reading a book. I just pick up the next book.
Okay, so why are you interested in starting now?
Because I feel like if I rate the book or journal it or did more than what I'm doing now, I feel like I am probably missing bits of the book, or it's going past me, or I'm just not remembering like character names and where it happened. And when I sit down and try and explain it to somebody, it just sounds like a bunch of rambling mess.
Okay. Do you ever find yourself reading a book that you've already read or listening to a book you've already read or something like that?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Rarely. It's more like the Gladwell book. I apparently read the first one and have no memory of it.
Okay. We're going to start with the basics, and not like the basics of signing up, but just like logging it, all the different ways you can mark it, and some of the star ratings, which it sounds like you've done a little bit of. This is your home screen, which on my home screen, it actually shows what all of my friends are reading. And so we'll get into more of what that looks like later. Why don't the book that you are currently reading?
It is Brigadines. How you spell
just
that?
Brigands.
Brigen.
No, A-N.
A-N.
But notice it'll start popping up.
I am a terrible speller.
True, I am too.
Always have been. Brigands and Bread Knives.
Okay, so you can click that. We see the cover on a computer. It'll even show you the genre, and it will show you alternate covers. Sometimes not so much on Goodreads, but on other apps, I like to pick the actual edition that I'm reading, because then at the end when it gives you your stats of like how many pages you've read, that's completely subjective effective based
on the book.
Yeah, and they always have the audio and the ebook as options too. You don't want to read it, so go ahead and click the little arrow.
To tell them that I am currently reading.
Yeah, and look, it shows that you're currently reading a book that I know you finished already.
Oh, yes.
So at some point you logged that as currently reading.
I'm not even sure which book that is.
It's More or Less Maddie, the one that...
Oh my gosh, it's been ages
I know, that's... I know. If you ever are reading a book through Kindle specifically, because Kindle is owned by Amazon and Goodreads is owned by Amazon, it automatically switches that to currently reading.
That's pretty cool.
No, I think it's annoying because then it double counts my books. Like, it'll say that I finished 2 books when really it's like, it's because the one I logged and the one it automatically logged for me. So look, there's also want to read and then read.
That's another reason I want to use Goodreads. I want to have some place where it's like, oh, what can I read next?
So you've logged it as currently reading. And now when we go back to my books, it's right here. So you're currently reading 2 books. Now this, I don't do this on Goodreads, but I do this in other apps. You can go in and say how far you are.
Percentage.
You can either do it by page number, percentage. Since you listen to audio, percent's a little bit easier because the app tells you the percentage. If you put in page numbers, it converts it to a percentage or something like that, like vice versa. I don't do that on Goodreads because that's doing too much.
Let's do More or Less Maddie and tell it that I am.
Well, here's what I want you to do for this one. We're going to go to the book.
Oh, okay.
And then we're going to change this one to read.
Okay, read. Does this track the date
Yes.
I said?
Right. And so now, right now, this thinks that you finished the book on February 8th, but we can change that.
Okay.
So go ahead and edit the dates.
All righty.
Now, do you remember when you finished it?
No.
It was when
read it together.
We did. It was around Thanksgiving.
Was it?
Yeah, just go with like the end of November. Yeah, because remember
my start date is November 24th.
Oh, that's probably when you finished it.
November 31st. I'll do that.
And then if you read a book again, it will actually log it as a reread. I do that all the time. So like, let's say I read a book, but then I forgot to log it until the next day. I can go in and like backdate it or whatever. Yeah. So since we're in here, let's rate this book. So you'll see we have 5 stars. You get to decide what those mean. There's no like...
And I can't do like a 4 point whatever.
Nope, that's one of the problems with Goodreads.
Okay.
So go ahead and say how... I know it's been a while since you read this. How would you... You need to kind of decide what your stars mean, and everybody kind of has
another reason why not to believe everybody's reviews.
It's true,
I could hate the book for one reason, but it could be an absolutely good book.
The one that always bothers me is when people rate a book that they didn't finish. Like they'll do 1 stars DNF.
All right, I'm going to give this, I'm a generous person, so I'm going to give it a 4.
All right, and that's it. We're like, it's saved.
All I need to do. Okay.
And you can go back and you can change your review later. So this tells you like when it was published, how many pages it is. This is where you can change the edition. So you can like switch to specific editions. So if you listen to it, audiobook, does this mostly feel intuitive to you, like pretty straightforward?
Yeah, pretty much.
Could you see remembering to do this as you read and finish a book?
It is something I'm going to have to get into the habit of doing.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you feel about the rating? Because I know you're not used to rating.
Yeah, the rating is the one thing. I mean, I agree with rating. I use it when buying products, picking out restaurants to go to, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sympathetic to any author who has sat down and done the work.
Mm-hmm. I've gone in and like started my reviews out with, I really hate writing bad reviews because I know how much time an author.
Yeah.
But I will say ratings are for consumers, not for authors. The author can't do anything about their book. It's already been published. It's kind of like the difference between telling somebody they have broccoli in their teeth versus telling somebody they need to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Like you can go get broccoli out of your teeth. You could tell a friend before they buy the shirt that it doesn't look so good on them. So I've started to try to think about ratings being for readers, not for authors. But you can always, I think people go into reading reviews as knowing like it's art. You know what I mean? Like it's different for everyone.
You probably do have some people that you recognize that are leaving reviews. It's like, oh, I agree with them usually. So
yeah. Then you do. You start to see the same people at the top of reviews. If you did nothing else, that could be it. That would be fine. And at the end, it would tell you what you've read and what how many books you read.
Yeah, I do like knowing how many books books I read.
Now we're going to get into more of like the personalizing of it so we can make it a little bit more your own. So the shelves that were on there, those are the default shelves. So currently,
I look at these as shelves.
So you've got currently reading, want to read, and read.
Oh, those are just your basic shelves.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what it comes with. Now let's create a new shelf. So go ahead and click.
Okay.
And you can do this on your phone, on the computer. I would recommend having one that says DNF. Like, look, they even recommend did not finish.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a shelf for books that my daughter has read. So that, which I don't track all of them, but I try to keep track of them. Like if I'm at the store and I'm going to buy her a book, I don't want to buy her a book she's not interested in or whatever. There's nothing, you don't have anything on this shelf is why it looks
so
like that.
I go back.
Do you want to add a book to it?
No, I want to create a shelf.
Oh, you want to create a new one. Yep.
Okay, so it's a big old button down here, shelf.
Yep. Another one, it's not one that I have made, but sometimes want to read gets really, really, really long.
Okay.
So you could have a shelf that's like, I'm interested in, and then your want to read is like, I'm definitely reading this.
Okay.
Like it could be, so you could have like an interest shelf or something like that.
Do you have one that's like, read this next?
I consider that my want to read. My want to read is like a bajillion books long, and it really is just like a log of like when I hear about something, I put it on my want to read. I wish that I had set it up this way a bajillion years ago.
So I think like recommended to me.
Okay, that's a good one. Now notice, it does, like, you can't change, like it's always in lowercase, and when you do spaces, you can't do anything about that. Formats those,
Unless
you can't.
I delete it and recreate the shelf.
Nope, it doesn't matter. It's always gonna, even though you did capital DNF, it's gonna always lowercase it. I don't know why it bothers me. The programming in this is so bare bones compared to where programming is now. They have not updated anything except for their logo. That's another people's big complaint with Goodreads is how like outdated it is. We've created custom shelves. This is a really good setup. So you've got your want to read, your DNFs, and then your recommended to me. I like that because then
Can
you can
reorder them.
No, not that I know of. It always does your most, like it starts them this way, and then anything new you create goes down there. The order that they're gonna come up in, it's like the order and you can create one straight from here too. Like on the desktop version of this, not so much on here, you can actually see genres. I think those are the tags. The tags show you like the specific genre that the book is. How do you think you might utilize knowing genres? Do you think that would be useful? Like I use it all the time, but that's for like video and review purposes.
Well, every now and then I get into the mood for something cozy or something.
And you can actually click those and it will recommend like other things.
The ones that...
Although I will say they're very broad and you're going to get a ton of recommendations. They don't like, you can't do multiple tags. So
are they all my tags or are they tags from other people?
They're tags that are associated with the book. You can add your own personal tags, but the tags that recommend other things like came with the book, if that makes sense. You can user input books if it's like a self-published book, or sometimes somebody will have a different edition of a book and they will have user input it, but I usually don't use those because they don't have like the pictures and you don't know how accurate they are and things like that. So you'll know that they're not accurate because it'll have like 2 reviews or 2 ratings on like a book that everybody knows about and stuff like that. So now you can organize everything. I want you to be able to see how to use it to know what's coming next, how we can actually use it to figure out what else to read. There's a couple ways you can look at recommendations. Click that Discover button down in the middle.
Discover.
Which on the computer, this is at the top. Goodreads will create lists. Right now, their big lists are related to like swoon-worthy and romantic because it's February. But then it also will start pulling from other books you have read. And it will, this isn't my favorite way to get recommendations. I actually prefer their trending, like here's trending things. On the website, there's actually, it will pull books that are coming out in the future from authors that you've read. So if you put a book on your want to read or on your read list, it will tell you if that author is coming out with new books, and you can go a couple months in the future. So there's all these up here. So like romantic escapes, and it's really easy. They set it up so they show you the title and you can just click want to read, like, oh, like I know this author, want to read.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So here's people that are writing their second novel, or they have most anticipated books of 2026. And you can just go in and you can, oh, like I know B.K. Borison, and then there's a little synopsis, and you can just really easily add it to your want to read, or if you want to do the drop down, you can add it to any of your shelves. So this is my favorite way to find like upcoming books. I'll show you my account, and I have like a ton of friends. I use the word friends lightly. And then you can see what they're reading. Like, I'm interested in reading that, or that looks like something. You'll start seeing a lot of people reading the same book. What are your thoughts on people seeing what you're reading, essentially?
I don't care.
Okay. Or seeing what other people are reading?
Yeah, no, there's no privacy in this.
That's true, you're not wrong. I'm gonna have you add me as a friend. So go to more and then add friends. So you can do this with your contacts, which this is gonna be my contacts, so it's not gonna work as well. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but on your phone, it might even sync up with Facebook. I'm gonna switch to my account so I can show you the social side of it. This is gonna look a little bit different on here than it does like on the computer, on the phone. Like normally I don't see this trending or popular or because you, but this immediately starts with like, here's people that I know. So this person is somebody I used to work with at Barnes & Noble. This is somebody that I work with now. This is sprinkled in with other recommendations, but that's not normally what it looks like. It's normally just like a huge list. This is a booktuber, and you can see like I've read that book, and so it pops up as read, and I can see her rating and, you know, like a snippet of her review. And so sometimes this is how I get recommendations, is I just see what other people are reading.
What's the use of ones that you've already read, though?
Like you said, if we have similar interests, you know, like if we're reading similar things.
So if we get together, I can be like, oh, I saw you read such and such.
Exactly.
You can four bottles of wine and have 10-second conversation about it.
You can stalk me on it. So I'd be curious to see if you had it on your phone, if it pulled from your Facebook contacts or even your phone contacts. I bet you could easily invite a bunch of other people that you know are readers, or you could encourage them to read and stuff like that. This is a little more high stakes, but I think it's useful. Go ahead and click more. So go to giveaways. This is my profile though. This will tell you books that are coming out and books that are already out. Let me tell you, I do this all the time, and I've won 2 in like 10 years. So don't plan on
They're only
winning
giving
them
it away in a different language.
So you can narrow it down by print only and then by genre. If you enter the giveaway, it automatically puts it on your want to read list. That's part of that's part of the stipulation of entering the giveaway. Or I'll see a book and I'll be like, oh, this sounds interesting. And if you click the author, it will show you other works by them and things like that. So this is a way that I will go in and find new things that are coming out.
Have you ever won anything?
Yes, I've won 2. I won the Thursday Murder Club, the last Thursday Murder Club book, and then I won a mystery. It was the one with the envelope where the young kid was blamed for her murder, and then they unearthed the car and it had the note in it. Yeah. I won that book and I read it.
The last thing she told me, or
no, that's if you ever find.
Oh, if you.
Whatever, I'll put the title of it up.
There were a lot of them.
Yeah, there were, and I read it and I really liked it. I ended up giving it to a friend because she was getting ready to have surgery and needed some books.
So you're getting physical books when they mail it to you?
It depends. Some of them are Kindle, like they tell you if they're print, or a lot of them are print. I enter them all the time, but I don't plan on ever winning any of them. So the other thing that you should do, go to reading challenges, set your, like right now I have a goal of 75 books and it tells me how far I'm in. That's my last recommendation, I would say.
When I signed up, there was something about how many books do you want to read this year.
You set something in there.
I did.
You can change it all the time.
Low, yeah.
You can change it, and
I wasn't sure if it meant month or year.
Oh yeah, no, and you can go back and look at previous ones.
Is it just the number of books, or is it? Could you say my challenge is to read these books?
No, for Goodreads, they just focus on the number of books.
Okay.
And it tells you if you're on schedule. They recently just started. They'll give you like a little wrap up at the end of like the shortest book and the longest book, and show you like a visual of all the ones you read. But that's because they're trying to compete with some of these other.
It would be interesting to know like how many hours a day you waste sitting there reading books. How do you get anything done?
Well, and the other apps will track things by page numbers and things like that. I do other things while I read.
Know.
Okay. So what were some things that you liked?
Definitely I need to track what it is I want to read.
Okay.
That's one thing that I struggle over a lot of times. Is I don't have a difficult time, but then I hear something come up a lot and it's like, oh, I wanted to read that.
I think you use Libby as a way to track that, and then you feel like you need to read it right in that moment because it's available on Libby. And if it's not out yet and you forget about it, so you can't really rely on Libby for that.
And I think it would be nice to, like with you, I wasn't sure if you had read the one book. I was thinking, oh, I wonder if there's a way I can go into Goodreads and see
it
what
would be
Genevieve
really
read.
handy if I knew what books you had read when I'm
Yeah.
coming up with video ideas.
And
But that's a
text
whole
me what
other,
you
that's not a
read.
regular person issue. So is there anything that you think is like unnecessary or that you won't really use?
Anything that I have to do daily is probably not going to happen.
It's like the track, the
tracking,
tracking.
Progress.
Yeah.
It's going to be want to read, maybe reading it and read. It's not going to be, oh, I read 70% of it.
I'm going to check back with you in a couple months and we'll see
if I
if
read.
you're using it. Actually, I can just check on you daily by stalking you on Goodreads. If you're watching this and thinking about trying Goodreads or rethinking how you use Goodreads, we'd love to know what you learned or what you found out.
Or if you are on Goodreads and feel like we should be friends,
Find us, yeah.
Find us,
Or
yeah.
let us know about a feature that we maybe didn't cover. Some of us are clearly learning. We'll check back in later this year to see what stuck, what she's actually using, see if you're still actually using it. So subscribe so you don't miss that check-in.
thanks for joining us.
Happy reading. Grab your favorite caffeinated beverage.
Do you want to say that again?
Yeah,
'Cause
that
it
was
sounded
kind of
like
weird. Caffeinated.
It's not functioning. my coffee mug's
Oh
malfunctioning.
no, it's like an ominous foreshadowing of what's to come.
Do you have to change that every day?
Not every day. I don't read I don't finish a book every day.
Once we become friends.
Right, yes, once we
Unless I unfriend
figure out how
you.
to do that.
Took me off.
Sorry, hold on.
Cat hair.
Yeah.